Hello everybody, welcome back. In this video, I will talk about one of the important topic related to security in Oracle Analytics Server and Oracle Analytics Cloud. Managing security for Oracle Analytics Server. Overview of users, groups, and application rules. Oracle Analytics Server is like a super smart tool made by Oracle. It helps companies understand their data better. But to make sure only the right people can see certain things, Oracle Analytics Server needs to manage who can do what. That's where users, groups, and application rules come in. Users, groups, and application rules work together to define access control in Oracle Analytics Server. Now let we start with users. Users are people who use Oracle Analytics Server. Each user has a special name and password to log in. Users can do different things depending on what they are allowed to do. For example, some users can see inventories data, while others can see orders data. Users can be part of groups, which makes it easier to manage who can do what. Now, let we move to groups. Groups is collection of users that share similar access needs. Being in a group means you get the same permissions as everyone else in the group. So, if one person in the group can see inventories data, everyone in the group can see it too. Groups can change over time as people join or leave the company or change rules. For example, I was working in inventories department, and then after that I moved to the IT department. So they should revoke or remove this group from myself and grant me the new group. Now let we move to the application rules. Application rules are like special jobs or rules within Oracle Analytics Server. Each rule has its own set of tasks or things it can do. For example, one rule might be able to change setting, while another can only view reports. Users can have one or more rules. For example, I can have consumer and author, depending on what they need to do. This makes sure they only have access to what they are supposed to see and do. Now, about application rules. There are two types of application rule. The first type is predefined, include a fixed set of permissions like BI Service Administrator, like DV Consumer, DV Content Author, and we have user defined. User defined created by administrator. You can give the name as you want. Predefined application rules in Oracle Analytics Server. The first one is BI Service Administrator. This allows users to administer Oracle Analytics Server and delegate privileges to others using the console. This application rule is assigned all the available permissions. Now, BI Data Model Author allows users to create and manage semantic models. The next predefined application rule is BI Data Load Author is not used. Now, for the DV Content Author, allows users to create workbooks, connect to data, and load data for data visualizations and explore data visualizations. The next application rule is BI Content Author, allows users to create analysis, dashboard, and pixel perfect reports, BI Publisher, and share them with others. The next one is DV Consumer, allows users to explore data visualizations. The last one is BI Consumer, allows users to view and run reports in Oracle Analytics Server, workbooks, analysis, dashboard, pixel perfect reports. Use this application rule to control who has access to the service. So if you want, for example, to grant the minimum privileges to the user, you need to grant him BI consumer. He can only see the report and then the reports. Now, this diagram shows that a member of the BI service administrator application rule is an indirect member of all the other predefined application rule. BI service administrator has DV content author, BI data load author, and BI data model author. This means that users with the BI service administrator application rule can automatically do everything that these individual application rules allow. For example, if you add a new administrative user, you don't need to give a new user every application rule. Instead, you simply give him the BI Service Administrator application rule, and this grants him all the available permissions. Now, for DV Content Author, this diagram shows that a member of DV Content Author application rule becomes an indirect member of the BI Content Author and DV Consumer and BI Consumer application rule. So if you give a user the DV Content Author application rule, the user can create and share, explore, and view data visualizations, and they can also create, share, run, and view analysis and dashboard. And this applicable also to the BI Content Author, because BI Consumer is part of BI Content Author. This level is Service Administrator, this level is Service User, and this level is Service Viewer, which is mean that this level only can view the report, this can create the report, this can administer the content and the reports. Now, when I create users, the best practice is add these users to the group, and then you can add these groups to the application rule. For dashboard and reports access, you can either grant the application rule the permissions, which is the best practice, or you can grant directly to the users. When we reach the PI analytics, I will show you how to grant permissions to the users. Now let us consider this example where there is a new requirement to build the following users and grant permissions based on the below table. User 1 is part of inventory 1 group, and this user 1 or inventory group 1 will be part of inventory 1 rule. Inventory 1 rule will has the BI consumer. The type of user will be inventory end user. He can see what the permission. He can only see warehouse, inventory report, and dashboard only. User 2 will be the same. He can only view warehouse, inventory report, and dashboard only. For user 3, he is inventory super user group. When we talk about super user, he can check or view the entire report in the inventories. He will be part of inventory super user rule, and he will grant the BI content author application rule, which is part of BI content author. The type of user will be inventory super user. He can view all inventories, report, and dashboards. The next user, user 4, is order item group, will be part of order item 1 rule. He will grant BI consumer, the type order items end user. He can only view products, net amount, peer status report, and dashboard only. The next user, user 5, order item super user group, will be part of order item super user rule, and a predefined rule will be BI content author. His order item super user. He can check all order items, report, and dashboard. The user 6 will be the same. User 7 is will be grant order 1 group, will be part of order 1 rule, and he will grant BI consumer. His orders end user will grant only view of number of orders per status report and dashboard only. User 8 is order super user group, will be part of order super user rule, which is part of BI content author. He is order super user, and he has the permission to see all orders report and dashboard. And we have super user. He can see all report and dashboard. And the last user is admin user, which is part of admin group and admin rule, which is part of BI service administrator. And the tab admin user, he can see and edit the all report and dashboard. Okay, now let me move to the BI server and show you how to create users, groups, and application rule. Now, I will start with console. The console, as I mentioned before, is this is the host name, IP address, and I use the port 9500 for console, always either 500 or 600 or 700, depend of your configuration, /console. From console, I can create users and groups. How I can create users? I need to click here in security realms. I have here only single my realm. Click here. Okay, now I have here configuration tab and users and the groups tab. I will click here. I have two tabs. The first one is users. The second tab is groups. I will start creating my users from here. Click here new. What is the name of user from my Excel sheet? User 1. Click here. You can mention the description. You can add this description or permission. Warehouse inventory report and dashboard only. This part of provider. I don't have another provider. The password. Insert your password. After that, click OK. It will show you user created successfully. Here you can find the user. You can click the user and edit the description. You are not allowed to edit the username. You have only to change the username. You need to drop and create it again. Password, you can create the new password and confirm password as you are administrator. Attributes, here's the attribute, will not change anything. Here's the group. As of now, he is not part of any group. Okay, we'll move on to create the second user, a new user 2. Let me add the description, password. Okay, user 2 created. Now user 3, a new description, all inventories, reports, and dashboard, password. Okay, user 4, a new description, okay, user 5, I will grant user 5 the same privileges for user 4. This order items, order item, Okay. Now user 5, new, description, password. Okay. User 6, description, password. User 7, user 8, and super user. All reports and dashboards. Last user, admin user. From here, sorry, description, admin user, password from 1 to 8. Okay, the first step is done. I created from user 1 to user 8, and then I created admin user and super user, admin user and super user. This part is done. Now I will move to the next one, is creating the groups. I will start with the group inventory group 1. From here, click to the groups and click new. I have these groups, predefined groups. New, this inventory inventory 1 group, you can add your description. This group for access, warehouse, inventory, report, and dashboard only. This part of provider 1. Okay. If I want to change or modify this group, I will click again. I will either edit the description or the membership. A group, inventory group 1 can be part of another group. I will keep as is now. Go back to users and groups. Click new to create the second group, which is inventory super user group. This description of this group. Click OK. The third one is order item group. New description. Next, order item super user group. New description. Next, order one group. Description. Next, order super user group. You cannot give the same name for two groups. The group name should be unique. Next, super user group. New for reports and dashboards. And the last group is admin group. Okay. The next step is assign these groups to this user. For example, user 1, I will go back to user 1. This is user 1. He has this group, right? Inventory 1 group. I will click here on the group and will assign inventory 1 group to this user and click save. Setting updated successfully. So if you go back to user 1 and click groups, you will find he already has this group. Go to the user number 2 group and assign this group for him. Inventory 1 group, the same group. Save. Now user 3 group. He has inventory 1 super user group. Inventory 1 super user group. Okay. User 4 order item 1 group. Save. User 5 the same group. Save. User 6 order item super user group. Next from here user 6 group. Order item super user group. Save. User 7 order 1. Next. Order 1 group. Order 1 group. Okay. User 8 order super user group. Group. Save. Now super user group would be part of super user group. Save. Last one is admin user. Is part of admin group. Save. Okay. The first step is done, which is grant the users, grant the groups, and grant these groups to these users. The next step is creating the predefined rules, which is from the enterprise manager. Now log into the EM. From here, enter the host name and the port. In my case is 9500/EM, which is mean EM, Enterprise Manager. You can log into the application rule to check the predefined application rule and create the user-defined rules from here. WebLogic domain, go down to security and click on application rules. You need to select from application stripe OBI and click here on search application rules. It will show you all the existing predefined and user-defined rules. In my case, I don't have any user-defined rules as of now. I have BI data modeler, I have BI data load author, DV consumer, BI content author, B consumer, DV content author, B search administrator. So if you click, for example, here in BI content author, edit, for example, you will find DV Content Author and BI Search Administrator is part of BI Content Author, which is mean that any user has BI Search Administrator will be automatically has the BI Content Author. Cancel. If you click in BI Consumer and edit, you will find DV Consumer and BI Content Author. Any user has BI Content Author and DV Consumer will automatically has the BI Consumer. Now, I want to create the user-defined application rule as per the table. Go back to the table. I will start with inventory one rule. Create inventory one rule. You can add a display name, for example, without underscore. And you can add here the description. Now, for adding the groups to the application rule, you can immediately add, for example, inventory one group to the application rule. From here, add in one step. Go to the select tab groups. You can select search, for example, to display all the available groups, or you can insert the group name from here to the start with or includes principal name and click here search. You will find the group name, inventory group. Click OK and click OK. Now, in this step, I create a predefined application rule, inventory one, and add this group to the application rule. As you can see here, this inventory one rule has the inventory one group. Go next to the inventory one super user group. Sorry, inventory one super user rule. Create. Add the name here. Add the name. You can remove the underscore. You can add the description. And from here, add the group name. The group name is inventory one super user. I can, for example, start with inventory one, inventory super user. I will search with the group. Search, you will find the group name. And here the description. OK, click OK. Next to the order item one rule. Create order one item without underscore, description, add order one item group, select group from here, select the group, click OK. OK. Next, order item super user rule, create without underscore, description, add order item super user group, select group, add the name here, click search, select the group name and click OK, click OK. Next, order one rule, create order one rule without underscore, description, the name is order one group, search, again order one group, OK, OK. Now order super user rule, create add group or the super user group, search, select the group, okay, okay. Next, super user rule creates, description, add group, okay, okay. Last rule, admin rule creates, add group name, a group, okay, okay. All rules have been created successfully. Now I want to assign this predefined rule to this user-defined rule. For example, I want to add to consumer this rule. I will log into BI consumer from here, edit. Okay, this is data load. Click on BI consumer, then click edit. Okay, and then click add. Loading. Okay, now I want to add inventory one rule to the BI consumer. What else? In order item one, add. Sometimes it's not accepting more than one rule at the same time. Let me try. Okay. You see, you need to click OK and log in again to BI consumer. This is bug in Oracle. And click add. You need to add one rule at the same time. Order item. Okay. Then edit again. I want to add order one rule. Add. Okay. Now I added three rules, user-defined rule to the BI consumer predefined rule. What does it mean? It means that any user login with the predefined rule, with the user-defined rule like inventory one, he will automatically has the BI consumer. BI consumer, again, it gives the user access to view the reports. Next. Now BI content author. BI content author from here. Click edit. Add to BI content author. The first one is inventory one super user. Select, click OK, click OK. Then click edit again. Order item super user rule. Add from here. OK. Select the name. Click OK. Edit again. You can take part of the name super user. Click add. Put it here instead of start with, include super user. You have two super user is not added to the this rule till now, so it displays only two rules, while the other two rules already added. Now the first one is order super user. Click OK, click OK, click edit again and add. Last one is super user rule. Okay, the last one is admin rule, which is part of BI Service Administrator rule. The web logic is part of BI Service Administrator rule. If you check, BI Service Administrator has only single user, not group, only single user. Click here, Add, Application Rule, Admin Rule. Click Search, select the rule and click OK. Click OK. Now, at this step, I created all the required user-defined rule name, and I assigned this predefined rule to this user-defined rule. The next step is moving to BI Analytics or BI Publisher and show you how we can assign these rules to the report and dashboard. I'll move to BI Analytics and log in by WebLogic account. After creating users, groups, and application rules, it's important to note that permissions may not be reflected immediately. In other words, although you have granted permissions, you might encounter an access denied error when attempting to log in. To resolve this issue, you may need to wait for some time or restart the BI services to ensure that permissions are working fine. Now, I will keep this browser open by WebLogic account and move to another browser and try now to log in by user 1. Login. Now, if I log into the analytics by user 1, does the security will be applied? The answer is no. Why? Let me show you why. Here, if we check the permissions, you will find that BI consumer is granted access and BI administration, BI service administrator. And if you go back to user 1, here, application rule, you will find the user 1 can access the folder and view the table directly because the consumer has been granted access. So, the first step, we should remove consumer from the folder. Now, if I go to permission and remove consumer, okay, remove consumer, okay, remove consumer, okay. Now I want to log in by user 1 account, user 1, login. User 1 can access BI. However, he is not be able to see any folder. Why? Because there is no folder grant permissions to user 1 or to inventory 1 rule. This is first step. Okay. Now let me move to permissions from top to down. First of all, I want to check admin user. Admin user is granted BI Service Administrator. Let me log in by admin user. As admin user is part of the administrator, so he is be able to see all report and dashboards. If I go to catalog, he's be able to see inventory, inventory objects, order items, folder and objects, and order, folder and objects. Not only he can view the data and modify the report and dashboard. He can go inside any report and edit the dashboard and save it to the shared folder because he granted administrator permission. I'll click here, save, saved. If I go to inventory dashboard and press edit dashboard, click save, he's be able to save. Not only view and edit the report and dashboard, he's also is be able to log in to administration tools. For example, from here I can go to manage privileges, manage sessions, manage agent, everything related to administrator he can log in. Okay, so for the administrator only give him administrator permission, not more. It's enough to access everything related to BI, report and dashboard and change the administration tool. Now I want to move to user 3 because user 3 is consumer, part of the consumer. When I talk about the consumer is able to view the report and edit the reports in one case if he granted full access or modify permission. Let me show you. For example, user 3 is a grant permission to all inventories report and dashboard. So I will take this copy and go back to Obligec account inventory from here, permission, and press apply, search inventory. You can either provide him full access, full control, modify, open, traverse, no access, and custom. Let me explain you to these options before proceeding. I'll go back to my presentation. Okay. For read, use this option to give authority to access but not modify the objects. Only you can access the report but not modify. Write, use this option to give authority to edit the objects. You can edit the objects. Delete, use this option to give authority to delete the object. You can remove the object. Traverse, use this option to give authority to access objects in folders within the selected folder when the user doesn't have permission to the selected folder. For example, if you grant user traverse folder permission to the shared folder, test folder, they cannot access objects in the shared folder, test folder, but he can access objects stored in lower folder such as the shared folder, test and guest folder. All content inside the test folder he can access, but not the test folder itself. For run publisher report, use this option to give authority to read, traverse the folder that contains the object and regenerate the report so that it includes the most recent data. Schedule publisher report, use this option to give authority to read, traverse the folder that contains the object and schedule the report. View publisher report, use this option to give authority to read, traverse the folder that contains the objects and view but not regenerate the report. Execute, use this option to give authority to run an object such as an action, agent, or briefing book. Change permissions, use this option to give authority to change the object permissions. Set ownership, use this option to give authority to reassign ownership of the objects. I will go in details for the ownership. Full control, use this option to give authority to perform all tasks, modify and delete, for example, on the object. No access, use this option to deny access to the object. Explicitly denying access takes precedence over any other permissions. Modify, use this option to give authority to read, write, and delete the objects. Now, I have still more for permissions open. Use this option to give authority to access but not modify the objects If you are working with an Oracle BI Publisher object, this option enables you to traverse the folder that contains the objects. Custom. Use this option to display the custom permissions dialog where you grant, read, execute, write, and delete permissions. Granted. Use this option to give authority to access a section in a dashboard. This permission can be set in the dashboard only. This permission overrides any catalog permissions set on the section's objects that would prevent the corresponding rules, catalog group, and users from accessing them. For example, no access. Now, the last one is denied. Use this option to deny access to a section in a dashboard. This permission can be set in the dashboard only. This permission overrides any catalog permissions set on the section's object that would allow the corresponding rule, catalog groups, and users to access them. For example, a view. Now, for this permission, its different words exist. For example, full control in a folder include all permission. In Oracle BI Publisher, it include all permission and objects. For example, analytics object like report, like filter, include all permissions. Modify in a folder, read, write, delete. BI Publisher, read, write, delete, and BI Analytics, read, write, delete. Open in a folder, read, traverse, and run BI Publisher. In BI Publisher, run Oracle BI Publisher reports. In BI Analytics, read. Schedule object, schedule Oracle BI Publisher report, schedule BI Publisher report that are contained in the folder, read and traverse. In BI Publisher, schedule Oracle BI Publisher reports. In BI Analytics is not available. For a view Oracle BI Publisher report outputs in a folder, a view BI Publisher report that are contained in the folder, read and traverse. In BI Publisher objects, a view Oracle BI Publisher report. In BI Analytics is not available because this related to BI Publisher. Traverse in a folder, traverse folder. In BI Publisher is not available. In BI Analytics is not available. In no access for the folder object is not accessible, BI Publisher not accessible, and for Analytics is not accessible as well. So let me go back here. I added the inventory super user rule and I will select and put it here. Now I have these options: full control, modify, open, traverse, and no access, and custom. I will select custom, click OK. I will grant permissions read, traverse. It's enough. OK. Now I will click OK. I have different option here. Do I need to apply permissions to subfolder or apply permissions to item within a folder? Now, if you click here to this reports and go to the permissions, you will find now PI consumer and PI service administrator is applied. However, if I go to inventory again and click apply permissions to subfolder, apply permissions to items within a folder, click OK. Go to again to the reports. You will find the permissions is override to contain only these two permissions. Now let me try to log in by user 3 that contains the inventory super user rule. You will find inventory dashboard that contains two reports. Okay, I give him open and traverse. Do this user is able to edit the dashboard? The answer is no. Why? Because there is no modify or full contour for control granted. Do the user can be able to create a new analysis? Yes, he can. However, he can only to save the report in his folder. in my folder, not in shared folder. For example, if I select from here total quantity, I'm trying to save in my shared folder in inventory. He will give me like access denied for user to path shared inventory untitled one, because he only grant permissions open and traverse. He's not be able to write in shared folder or to modify the existing report or dashboard. Here can edits, however, he can only save this report in my folder. He can store it here. If he try to log in save here, there is no save. He can only save as in my folder. Okay. One more thing, that if he try, for example, here to this report, the permissions is disabled. Why? Because he's not granted full permissions. There is no here administrator option. This is super user. This is BI content author user. Okay, let me move to this user to show you another option of BI content author. This user 6, is granted access to all order items, report, and dashboard. I will take this rule and go to here with user 3. Okay, hero project. Okay, hero project. Order items, permission. I will add search. I will grant him modify. Okay. And will apply to all folders and subfolders. Now, if I try to log in by user 6, the user is able to see order items dashboard, which contains 3 reports. He is able to edit dashboard and click save. He is able to go to catalog, see the report and dashboard inside the order items. He's able also to save the reports. He's able also to create a new report and save it in shared folder and in my folder. However, he is not able to go to permissions options. Why? Because there is no full access granted. His grant modify, but not full access. He need full access to access this option, and there is no administration tools like the administrator. Okay, I will move to the next one of author, which is user 8, all orders, report, and dashboards. Orders, permission, add, full control. Okay, and you click here, apply permissions to subfolders, apply permissions to items within a folder. Click OK. Now, if I try to log in by user 8, he's able to log into orders dashboard. He's able to edit dashboard and save the changes on dashboard. He's able to go to catalog. He's able to edit any reports and save it in shared folder or in my folder. He's able to create a new report. One more thing, that he is able to go to permissions. From permissions, he can grant access to this object to another user, and he can move the ownership of this object to another user. Here the ownership is WebLogic. He is able, for example, to grant another application rule or any user access to this report because he granted full options, which is mean he can provide access to other users. I want to highlight this issue, this note, sorry. Okay, we have the last author is super user rule, which is part of super user rule. I will add this permission to all folders. Order items. Now, if I try to login by super user rule, he has full access, but without administrator options. Order as well. I forget orders, or I forget to apply to all. Login again. So he can access to inventory, he can access to order items dashboard, he can access to orders dashboard, he can go to edit dashboard, he can click save, he can edit dashboard, he can create a new dashboard, create a new report or dashboard. He can do everything except that administration option. How can I check the granted application rule from my account? Go to application rules. You will find that he granted authenticated user. This is by default. He granted BI consumer to view the report. He granted BI content author in order to modify the report if he has modify or full control only. Otherwise, BI content author will not be able to modify the report. As I explained in the first user, he granted super user rule. Now I'll move to the consumer users. I will start with user 1, inventory 1 rule. Go to the inventory folder, permissions, add inventory 1 rule. I will grant him only open. By the way, if you grant him full access or modify, he will not be able to modify or edit the report because he is consumer user. So you can only give him open or traverse or custom. I will provide him open. I will not apply permissions to subfolders and to items within the folder because I don't want him to access the other report and dashboard like product total quantity summary report because he should only access warehouse inventory report and dashboard. Now I will go to the warehouse inventory report and dashboard and provide access to this report. Open. Okay, now I'll try to login by user 1. User 1. Okay, user 1 will not be is not be able to view the warehouse dashboard. Why? He only can see this report. And even if he opened the report, he got an error message. Access denied for user to path. Okay, the consumer or the user one is enabled to view the dashboard because there are another objects related to the dashboard, and user one should be granted access to them. Let me explain you in more details. If you go to inventory, inside inventory, there is dashboard. You should grant on this dashboard, inventory one, open. Inside dashboard, there is inventory folder, dashboard. provide access to it, open. Inside inventory there is warehouse report, provide access to it, open. Okay, go back to the inventory. Here there is a subject area content and inventory dashboard prompt. If you open warehouse inventory report, you will find filter applied to it. So you need to be careful and check all objects related to this report and dashboard. If you go to criteria, you will find inventory filter. So you should provide access to this filter from here, subject area content, provide access to this folder, open, expand inside, there is inventory folder, permission, open, expand inventory filter, permission, open. Okay, if you open inventory dashboard, warehouse inventory, go to edits, there is dashboard prompt called inventory dashboard prompt. So you should provide access to this dashboard prompt as well. Inventory, open. Okay, now try to log in by user 1. Go to dash inventory. Okay, access denied for user path, shared inventory portal, inventory dashboard layout. Here I want to highlight one of the important note that sometimes there is some objects that reserved for BI. It's used internally for BI, like this object. So the first step, you should show hidden items. Go to dashboard, go to the inventory. You'll find this file is reserved for BI. You should provide access to inventory user 1 in order to access the dashboard. So go to permission, provide access to inventory 1 rule, open. Now try to log in again. Okay, now the user can access the dashboard that contains this dashboard prompt, this report that contains filter. He's not be able to edit the report. There is no create user for this report. He can go to catalog. He can only view the inventory folder, the main dashboard, the common object like subject area content, dashboard prompts, and inside the dashboard there is another folder, inventory. Here there are two dashboards. However, the user one can access only this dashboard, warehouse report inventory. Okay. Move on to the next user, user 2. As user 2 is part of inventory 1 group and he is part of inventory 1 rule, so he can access to warehouse inventory report and dashboard only without provide him any extra access. Once you provide access to this application rule, then all users and groups will granted the same permissions. Let me sign out by user 1. User 2, inventory. Okay, he can access this dashboard. If you check the application rule, he granted BI consumer and inventory 1 rule. Again, BI consumer is not direct access he granted by using inventory 1 rule. Okay, now I will move on to the user number 4. Now, user number 4, he should be grant product net amount per status report and dashboard. Go to the order items, product net amount, uh, per product net amount per status report at dashboard. To avoid granting access to each individual object like the previous user, I recommend you to follow this approach. Grant access only to the relevant objects. Sorry, grant access to the consumer for all objects except the main folder, and then selectively review and grant access only to the relative objects such as report and dashboard. This ensures that all common objects like filters, dashboard, prompt, and hidden objects are also granted. Let me show you this example. Now from permission, provide access to PI consumer. Okay, full open, and click here apply permissions to subfolder, apply permissions to items within the folder. Now all objects now is accessible by consumer. Now go to the relative object, like for example product net amount per status, right? This report, go to the permissions, remove consumer, and add this rule. What this rule? What the rule name? Sorry. Order item 1 rule. Open. Okay. Now for this report, remove consumer. For this report, remove consumer. Go to dashboard, expand. I will not touch any hidden object because already granted consumer. Check here, you will find consumer is granted. Go to net amount per status, remove consumer. Go to product net amount per status, remove consumer, and add order item 1 rule. Open. Go to product net amount summary reports. This way is better than the previous one. Okay, now I'll try to log in by user 4. Sign out. Order item. This user can access product net amount per status dashboard. If you go to catalog, go to order items, he can view the reports and dashboard and all common objects. This way is faster than the previous one. What is the next user? User 5. User 5 is the same permissions for user 4. He has the same permission, so he can access order item dashboard only product net amount per status. He is not be able to create any report. He is not be able to edit dashboard. Okay, next. Now user 7, he should access view number of orders per status report and dashboard only. Go to orders, number of order per status, number of orders per status. This one. Okay. Now, what is the rule name? Order 1 rule. Go to orders, permission, add consumer. This is first step. As open. Sorry, I should go to here to order. Permission. Open. Apply permissions to subfolder. Apply permissions to items within folder. And then go again to orders. Remove. Sorry. consumer, open. I only added BI consumer and apply to all. Go again to BI order permissions, remove consumer and add order one rule, open. Don't apply to all. Now go to each object here, only report and dashboard. Number of order per customer, remove consumer. Number of orders per employee, remove consumer. Number of orders per dates, remove consumer. Number of orders per status, remove consumer and add order one rule. Open. I will keep the other common object as is. We'll go inside the dashboard. I will keep the hidden object as is. I will not touch this object. Number of orders per customer, remove consumer. Number of orders per employee, remove consumer. Number of orders per dates, remove consumer. Number of orders per status, remove consumer and add order one rule as open. Okay. Now we'll try to log in by this user 7. Order item dashboard. Order item dashboard. Maybe I forget to remove the consumer from this user, from this folder. Okay, now again I will log out and log in. Dashboard, only he can view only order dashboard. Inside order dashboard there is one report, orders per status. He's not able to see administration. He's not able to create a new report. If you go to catalog, he can view the dashboard, report, and common items. In this way, we applied all these groups and rules. I will move to the next important topic, which is related to the ownership of the objects. Ownership of an object can either be granted by the user who created the object or taken by a user who has been granted the proper privileges. Note that the owner of an object or folder cannot automatically access the objects or folder, as I explained in the previous example. By default, the user who creates and saves a catalog object to either my folder or a shared folder owns the objects. An object in my folder cannot be assigned to another owner unless the object is moved to a shared folder. Let me give you an example. Suppose employee A has created a dashboard for marketing department. Employee A completes the dashboard report, dashboard prompt, filter, everything related to the marketing dashboard. He saved it to the marketing department shared folder, and now his duty or his responsibility is finished. Now he provides or assigns the ownership of this dashboard to employee B, who is marketing manager and responsible for updating, modifying, deleting, and viewing the report and dashboard. Now let me move to the BI and show you an example. For example, user 7 or user, we need content author user. User 8 has access to all orders, report, and dashboard, and he is content author user. Okay, I will go to the orders, or for example, I will log in by this user 8. catalog, expand, number of orders per employee, permission. The owner is who project. I can go, as he has full control, he can provide the ownership of this object to himself. Or I will go to the BI from here and go to the permissions. I log in by project account. I will provide order super user ownership of this reports. Now, as you can see here, owner is order super user rule. If you go to the reports and refresh, you will find he has the ownership of this report. So in this way, you can provide ownership of the report to another user. What I explained so far is the best practice. Now let me move to the presentation again and go back to this graph. Here in this diagram, I show you the users should be assigned to groups, and groups should be assigned to application rule, and the application rule should be assigned to the dashboard and report access. However, I have another ways to assign the users to application rule directly, or assign a user to the report directly. Let me give you two examples. For example, I want to grant access to a new user. Let me say that user 9 to the product total quantity summary without creating groups. Okay. Now I will move back to the custom BI console from here. Go to security real M and go to my real M users. I'll create a new user 9. Let me say he wants access to this reports, access to password user 9. Okay. I will not create here a group. I will go directly to the application rule and create a new application rule. Inventory to rule. Create inventory to rule. Inventory to rule. I will add from here. I can add either application rule, group, or user. I will add user directly from here. The user is user 9, or I can press user and click search user 9. This is your user 9. Okay. One more step: in order to allow user 9 to view the report, he should be added to the BI consumer. From here, I will add a new rule, order inventory to rule. Okay. Now I will go back to the BI from catalog. From here, project user. Make sure that you are logging by project account or by user has the administration privileges. Inventory permission. I will add inventory to star custom inventory to read traverse. Inside inventory Inventories folder, I have different objects, product total quantity reports, add inventory 2, open, and dashboard, inventory 2, inventory 2, dashboard layouts, inventory 2, and this dashboard I will grant access to the inventory 2. Okay, now let me try to log in by user 9. I hope it works now, otherwise it needs some time. Insufficient privileges. We need to wait some time to reflect the changes. Okay, let me go to the next example that I want to create user and assign directly to the report and dashboard. From here, I want to let users edit directly to the user and dashboard. Go back to the console, new user 10. We'll add this report to, for example, order items. Okay, this report, net amount per status, access to, okay, user created. I will go back to the BI, to the enterprise manager, and add these users to the consumer, because the users should have consumer to log into the BI. Edit from here. Okay, add. Can add application rule, group, or user. I will select user and user 10, search, select user 10 and click OK. Now I will go back to the BI from here. Okay, net amount per status, permission, add. Here you are either grant permissions to applications rule and users. You are not be able to grant groups. This is one of the most important note, that you are not be able to grant to the group. You have either grant to application rules or user. I will select user 10, but this is not best practice, because if you have 100 users and all of them want access to the dashboard, so you need to repeat this steps 100 times. However, the best practice is assign these users 100 to one group, and then assign one group to the application rule and grant access to the application rule. This user 10, okay. Net amount per status, add user 10. I will select users, expand, permission, user 10, select users, expand, dashboard layout, user 10, sorry, users. Now net amount per status, permission, add users, Okay, and the folder, order items folder, permission, add. Now, after restarting the server, in order to reflecting the change, I will try to log in by user 9 and user 10. Sign out, user 9, slash analytics, user 9, user 9. Okay, inventory, user 9 have access or view to product total quantity summary reports. If we can check my account, user 9 has only one predefined rule and one user defined rule, inventory 2 and vi consumer rule. Okay, I haven't created a group for this user as part of the user as part of this example. This is not best practice again. Now user 10, but I give you all options so you can use in your project. User 10 have an access to the order item dashboard to single dashboard, net amount, peer status report or dashboard. Here we don't have any user defined group or rules. Only I assigned this user to be a consumer, and from analytics I grant permissions to this user to access this dashboard. I hope you found the video interesting. Thank you, and I will see you in the next lecture.